In the star calendar year 1390 in the northern continent, Xuanwu City was the last defensive stronghold of mankind. Everywhere at this time was filled with the screams of the people. Save us! The fierce beast is coming! Run! A giant hand had seized the unfortunate ones. Because it was the ferocious Tauti beast, a gigantic monster from the rift. Hostile to all intelligent beings and civilized creations, with a strange structure and a compressed stomach space that could swallow things dozens of times its own volume. The beast hunted down anyone still alive in the city. The beast is coming. Run! Don't eat me! There was not only one monster, but many others as well. In this brutal situation there was a child. The boy fell flat while fleeing. Mother, save me. The mother was forced to turn back and pick up her child. Just as the monster came from behind, it stretched out its long arm to seize the mother and child. The woman could only helplessly hold her son. No, don't. She pleaded in despair, someone please save us. But its hand reached out. The two stood before death's door. No chance of escape. Just then a sword flew forth. It pierced straight into the Tauti beast's body. The mother's instinct still held her son tightly. Countless bullets were sniped afterward. Someone had come to save this ruined city. The sniper fire all focused on the beast. Swords were also hurled down to the ground. They were like a forbidden spell emitting light and trembling waves. Afterward they were recalled by their master, a war god in battle armor, hailed by the people as the sword duelist. That moment moved the mother deeply. Thank you, my lord. The child recognized his life-saving benefactor. Mother, look, it's the astral general. Life had returned to the people of Xuanwu City. It's the fleeting flying sword. The astral general has come. That lord controls the astral general to save us. Wonderful. We are saved. This astral general was the abyssal lord, proudly standing in the sky to observe. Its controller was none other than the saint-rank astral spirit master, Song Van T letter 1 bull letter 180DNG. The astral system constantly issued notifications. Alert. Insufficient soul force. Remaining soul force 5.6%. Forced astral release in 15 seconds. Song Van T letter 1 Bezo letter 180DNG calmed himself, adjusted his suit slightly. He was sensing the ultimate limit of his body. The soul force was exhausted again. Song Van T letter 1 Bidi letter 180DNG was the last warrior of mankind able to command an astral general in recent decades. A lone guardian of humanity's dwindling life, gasping within the fortress. Suddenly the voices below cried out, "It's over." From the beast's mouth came a strange light. The people's attitude completely changed. Save us. I don't want to die. Why? It's over. This time we can't escape. The beast dived upon the people below, a terrifying power able to shatter an entire fortress. Song Van T letter 1BO letter 1EDDNG blocked in time, using the sword duelist's defensive formation to protect the people. Beasts surrounded the city in a circle, their power multiplied. A great explosion followed. Smoke and dust filled Xuanwu City. The people below felt bewildered. What? I'm still alive. It was the astral general that blocked all attacks for us. The astral general's body, having taken the blow, issued a warning, soul force overload, temporarily unable to move. Sword duelist damaged 9, sword duelist remaining 8. Van T letter 1BO letter 1EDDNG elsewhere struggled to analyze the situation. Damn it, must lure the beast to a deserted place. Astral General Abyssal Lord, disengage structure. Astral power burst forth. The front became unseen. Song Van continued to control the Astral General. Core system. Mobilize Astral General reconstruction for me. His figure stood in the sky, his whole body gathering soul. Astral structure. Armor slowly surrounded him. From the fragments pieced together a form. Then it closed into proper armored fit. The light inside the armor shone. The shape of an astral general gradually took form. The armor's center was the place Song Van T letter 1 by letter 1 EDDNG controlled the astral general. Soul power gathering completed. The figure floating above had limbs and a head. Each fragment burst soul force. The astral general Tao Enhan appeared. Tao Enhan. Below, the crowd cheered. Astral General Tao Enhan transformed its spirit hue. The boy looked blankly at the armor. The color of the Astral General was changing. Spirit hue Tao Enhan, because the Astral General Tao Enhan possessed the flying speed of an Astral General. It could transform into the form of a phoenix. Van Chuong controlled Tao Enhan to transform, adding a beak and legs, becoming the Spirit Phoenix. Its power multiplied, using flight speed to attack the beast unable to block. Blazing light. The opponent was no easy match. From the beast's mouth spewed filth again. It aimed at the Astral General, triggering a warning. Host under critical strike attack from 8 o'clock rear left. This was the core system, where decades ago Van Chuong in the ruins of a civilization obtained mysterious power. It not only granted him the ability to replicate other people's astral generals, but also let him out of peril at critical moments. Relying on these abilities of the core system and the replicated astral generals, Van Chuong was able to find life from death many times. He tiredly faced the beast. Long tentacles clung to Astral General Tao Enhan. The scene unfolded as 10 against 1. The ugly beasts exchanged signals. But at that moment, the Astral General transformed. Astral Release, Astral Construct, Astral General Bok Koi. Transformed Spirit Hue. The body of Astral General Tao Enhan dissolved and changed into Bok Koi. Information on Astral General Bok Koi. Full strength and balanced speed of an Astral General. The times had changed. The Astral was no longer shackled. The beasts had to use old tricks to aim and fire. Van Chuong swiftly dodged every blast. He wielded a spear in counterattack. However, the Astral General replicated by the core system only possessed the original's inherent strength. But when Van Chuong was young, his soul vein was incomplete and carried a lifelong hidden calamity, leading now to his being stuck at Saint rank cultivation and unable to advance further. Using the spirit hue of a replicated Astral General could only unleash less than 20% of combat strength. Astral General Bok Koi converted armament, dual swords. Its agility was still less than the beast's. In an instant, it was restrained and attacked. Van Chuong could not escape, taking the monster's strike fully. Smoke then billowed. Nothing could be seen. From within the smoke shone a strange light, aimed at the target, the beasts below. Van Chuong within the Astral commanded. Core system. Scan the surrounding radar to see if any survivors remain. Scanning. Scan complete. Within 30 miles of the battlefield, no human life detected. System report. Then Van Chuong again transformed Spirit Hue, Astral General and Gao Bin, switching to reverse scale form, sprouting extra heads and weapons. The valiant armor was ready to strike, locking on target. This was Astral General and Gao Bin, capable of summoning the dragon-slaughtering Cold Beast General, with terrifying large-scale destructive ability. 1 against 10, as long as Ngao Bin summoned the dragon-slaughtering Cold Beast, the laser beams were enough to kill the beasts like grass. They were struck. Wails of anguish rang out. The system within Ngao Bin gave a signal, Soul Force Overload, Soul Force Overload. It plunged straight to the ground. Van Chuong immediately performed Astral Release to avoid the heavy impact. Each Astral gradually separated while Ngao Bin still fell. Astral Construct. The great explosion was thereby partially mitigated. The thick smoke revealed the authority of the massive spear just debuted. The warrior spirit was elevated, making Van Chuong immediately pose. Spirit Soul General Lu Bo. Feeling his exhausted body, the system urgently reported, soul power not enough. But the situation of the battlefield did not allow Van Chuong to rest, but had to grit his teeth to stay awake. Taking a deep breath, he quickly put the mech into battle mode right away. Spirit essence changed. The cold breath escaped from the steel frame to intimidate the surrounding creatures. Spirit essence Lu Bo. Knowing he would not live much longer, he carried the spear, rushing into the enemy with some old stories recalled. When we obtained the Spirit Master System, we also obtained a part of information related to the ancient civilization in decline. Humanity once dominated this planet, created a technological civilization that reached its peak. Van Chuong swept away the low beasts in one breath, making adrenaline surge, recalling clear memories. They had launched hundreds of millions of artificial satellites around this planet, forming a giant spirit net. The spirit net provided them with an infinite source of energy. Without resting another second, he quickly recovered, move accelerated upward to the next floor. The gathering of high-level beasts flying to one place casting spells made that hero somewhat discouraged. The ancients through the spirit net had carried out energy conversion of matter and space printing technology. From then, moving mountains, filling seas was as easy as turning a hand. But when the energy sphere was formed, Van Chuong immediately startled, accelerated, running to the scene. But the ancients were not satisfied with this. The expansion and bottomless greed made them want to control both time and space. That very act made the monsters satisfied, firing energy beams straight at him, finally bringing the disaster, destroying the whole planet. Tens of thousands of years passed. The badass mech was quickly burned under its heat. The ancient civilization was forgotten by the world. Ken Fong sat high, divided this planet into 5 continents. The brain did not submit under that overwhelming power. I come from Thindu nation of the eastern continent. Van Chuong's mouth did not forget to shout the battle cry. Spirit souls gathered. A series of wind slashes were struck directly at those ridiculous monsters, not the same as the defense strongholds of the northern continent. The spirit masters of the eastern continent could use spirit souls to fight against the beasts. Wearing a new battle robe, Van Chuong held the great blade, releasing killing intent. Spirit soul General Quan Vu. Spirit essence changed. Though still fighting on the outside, in his heart he was also filled with painful feelings when looking at the harsh reality. But the people of the eastern continent again had civil wars year-round. The nations in civil wars in the end were erased by the beasts. Thindu nation collapsed. The eastern continent became desolate. I was lucky to escape. The following decades lived miserably, countless times falling into danger. While fighting fiercely, Van Chuong suddenly felt a shock of electricity emitted from behind, making him startled. But the cracks appearing more and more together, with the beasts also becoming more and stronger. Reaching the limit of myself, I have been alone for so long. The strange machine fired a column of electric light, making the encounter area explode, causing Van Chuong to angrily growl. Spirit souls gathered. His body, thanks to the fast calculating brain, was lucky to escape the scythe of death, thanks to the new mech. Spirit soul General Long Tha. Completely different from the imposing appearance, inside the armor, the dry system voice pressed on each of his exhausted breaths. Soul power not enough. Warning, soul power not enough. His trembling hand reached behind his back. Van Chuong panicked to the point of freezing. Dangerous. The T letter 1E5CH letter 183N pill was finished. In the distance, the high-level beast was gathering energy from around into one huge sphere. After feeling it was enough, it launched that thing straight at the cockroach-like human figure. That situation forced him to regain strength to spin the double-edged blade. When the force transmitted was enough, Van Chuong quickly released his hand to let it automatically fly forward. Not flying for long, the blade hit that plasma sphere, creating a sky-shaking explosion. Plan A failed, making the monster play dirty tricks, summoning a cluster of sharp, twisted black wires to suddenly attack. That made Van Chuong unable to dodge and take the full blow to the shoulder. The armor quickly transformed the wound, making him fall down with a faint groan. As soon as they saw that hero at a disadvantage, the beasts quickly sent wires to tightly bind Van Chuong and then flew high. He tried to regain strength to struggle and then angrily gnashed his teeth. Tin, Ji. As soon as Long Tha was recalled, Van Chuong's breath began to grow heavy before giving the order. Spirit souls gathered. Dong Ian Chu. The throwing knives were launched from the mech as soon as he summoned them. Dao Nguyen Kim. They slammed into the energy sacks containing the monsters precisely without error. His exhausted body made Van Chuong collapse to the ground. Spirit essence changed. Yet he still had to hear the emotionless voice of the system droning in his ears, detecting large-scale spatial fluctuations of enemies approaching. Leave the battlefield before the countdown ends, otherwise certain death. The weary heart beat even more violently when the machine changed its voice. Countdown started. 5. Making Van Chuong's throat choke into a cough. What? 4. The earth and sky began to show quantum cracks, evenly arranged as if pre-programmed. 3. From inside, the long, sharp black arms sharper than $500 nails were splitting those space rifts apart. 2. With just a little force, the ugly faces of the monsters gradually revealed from the void gate. 1. They slowly stepped out to enjoy the destruction initiated by their own subordinates. 0. The thunderous sky mercilessly concealed the horrific shapes of the ferocious beast legion clustered above. Inside the shelter, the guide's voice roared louder than the chaotic footsteps of the crowd. Do not panic. Board the ship in order. The overcrowded compartments began to broadcast reports from the operators. Spaceship number 3 is full, requesting takeoff. Spaceship number 5 is full, requesting takeoff. Amid the panic of the crowd, Tiuho still stared blankly out the window and asked, Mother, with so many ferocious beasts appearing in the sky, can the Tin Han Chuang win? Wearing the Dong Iron Chu armor, Van Chuang stood still watching the beast army pour out. Ignoring the system's notification. 0. Tuk Chu has missed the best time to evacuate. He clutched his injured shoulder, gritting his teeth in rage. With such numbers, even the Tin Chu system has no way left, forcing the control chamber to release a scanning frequency immediately, searching for the newest method for the Tuk Chu to escape. The system detected that some transport ships had attracted enemy attention. The system suggested that the Tuk Chu lure the enemy toward the transport ships. The machine quickly captured the worried figures of Lai Mai and her child, leaving the battlefield as the enemy attacked the transport ship. Seeing them, Van Chuong's breath faltered for a moment. What? It's the mother and child from earlier. His weakened body made even simple thoughts sluggish. After a while, he let out a weary sigh, use them as bait and run away alone. No, this time I cannot listen to you. I am too tired of fighting alone for so many years. As long as humanity still has hope, they will rise again. In a brief moment, Van Chuong enlightened himself to gain motivation. If I cannot escape, then let me do something for them. Those who once entrusted their future to me, forgive me. He began focusing his inner power, making the system urgently warn, alert, detected Tuk Chu is burning life force to unleash soul power. Alert, detected Tin Chu is in life-threatening danger. Alert, system will implement emergency measures. The control cabin was quickly engulfed by the internal power unleashed by Van Chuong. It even spread outward, firing rays of light in all directions. The strategies in his mind transformed into beams blasting into the desert, leaving the beasts stunned in confusion. Taking advantage of their lowered guard, Van Chuong swiftly redirected the beams into their weak spots. Like a meteor crashing down, red flames devoured the Legion, leaving behind a void filled with ashes. Yet it was not enough. Van Chuong pushed to his final strength, turning his lonely body into a colossal pillar of fire that shook heaven and earth. The sacrifice of the lone hero erased the calamity. As the proud fire pillar burned away the word apocalypse for humanity. No one knew how much time had passed when a voice kept echoing, Tong Van Chuong, Tong Van Chuong, pulling his mind into a hazy chaos. Who is calling me? The voice persisted relentlessly, even growing louder. Hey Tong Van Chuong, Tong Van Chuong, wake up. His eyes struggled open only to see the blurred figure of another. Who are you? After a while, Van Chuong, still weary, remained asleep in his own bedroom. His hazy face slowly awakened from the endless dream. He sat upright, hand touching the soft bedsheet in startled confusion. Where is this? What is happening? Didn't I perish with the enemy? Why am I not dead? Van Chuong anxiously scratched his head trying to find an answer, only to freeze upon seeing himself in the mirror. The naive expression quickly vanished, replaced by shock. His eyes turned like a radar scanning from head to toe. This body, this is the uniform of the Martial Institute. The aged soul in the youthful body broke into cold sweat. I am 18 years old. As if to confirm his deduction, Van Chuong hurriedly stood to find proof. Then he was utterly stunned upon seeing the calendar loosely hanging on the wall. What? The star calendar year 1330. In just a moment, all of Van Chuong's reason collapsed, leaving his body trembling in the void. Under the blazing sun, his voice slipped out unconsciously, deepening his doubt. This place is Thien Du Quoc of the Eastern Continent, Southern Institute of Martial Mechanics. I have returned 60 years to the past. Nguyen Din Than is a mid-sized city on the southern border of Thien Du Quoc, said to have been founded 400 years ago by the first principal of Kovu Academy. The Southern Kovu Academy, one of the 3 top academies of Thien Du Quoc training spirit masters, is now hosting an intense contest. The next match, blue side number 27 class 7, facing red side number 03 class 10. When the announcement to start the match rang out was also when weapons clashed. 2 mechas rushed in and exchanged blows non-stop on the dueling stage of Kovu Academy. Without agreement, they both skipped the probing step and chose direct confrontation. The crowd shouted with full volume to cheer. Class 7 must win. Class 10, come on, fight. Luke Dean, like a country boy in the city, seeing this scene could only marvel. Wow, this is the Spirit General Iveen form. The green one is the specialized battle armor of Kovu Academy students. First time seeing it up close. The passionate youth from the Luke family did not see himself as an outsider. Quickly joined the cheering formation. So cool, come on, advance. The match became more and more intense. Number 27 suddenly broke the deadlock by pouring power into a twin blade slash. Even though number 3 raised his shield in time to block, his whole body still felt numb. Seeing he wanted to retreat to preserve strength, number 27 quickly rushed forward to pursue, wanting to run. But once number 3 widened the gap, he found space to prepare a counterattack. The audience watching through the big screen could not help but cup their hands to warn, daring to play dirty. Watch out, mecha number 3. He leapt high into the air to evade all enemy fire. Trivial, watch me cap mo Kyu. Number 3 spun midair, then flipped his hand to slash down at the foe below. Take this move. That familiar motion made his classmates wildly excited. Here it comes, this posture. It is his ultimate move. Our class 7 will surely win. Advance. Even though the Phi-Thien cap mo wind blades came roaring down, number 23 still stood calm and unmoved. Luke Dean sensed trickery and shouted, "Not right." The red mecha lured the green mecha to attack. The green mecha will lose. Class 7 students hearing this boiled over. What? Who is this guy? What nonsense is he saying? Not even wearing the Kovu Academy uniform, looking suspicious. Some even angrily threw a big pot on him. Isn't he a spy? They had just looked away from the fight for a moment when the stage suddenly erupted with loud explosions. Rocks and dirt flew up. Even mecha fragments cracked nearby cameras. Thai Kyu was anxious when she missed the most explosive moment. Did we win yet? Damn it. Such an important scene, and it couldn't be seen. When the feed was restored, the sight of number 3 pressing a sword to number 27's neck made her grab her head in frustration. What? We lost already? How did that class 10 guy do it? Though the result was not as hoped, a small number of other students turned their focus to Luke Dean. Damn it. All because of that guy earlier. Made us miss everything. Where is he? The one remembered by many had already silently blinked away from the center without anyone noticing. Luke Dean hurried along the road murmuring to himself. Luckily, he dodged quickly. Staying there would surely have made him a target. But I must say, where have I come to? Why is everywhere a dead end? Left turn then right again. The old gatekeeper told me so. Yet I can't see any big red gate at all. After his head spun for a while, a big question mark popped up. Is it this way? But the result twisted Luke Dean's mind even more violently. Another dead end. Who designed this? Heavens! He had to clench his lips to stop himself from spitting out a stream of choice words. Finally, Luke Dean bit the bullet and took a gamble. Didn't care anymore. Jumped across. Although it was a bit high, using spirit force to strengthen his body to clear it should be fine. After deciding, he slammed his hand on the ground to borrow force and propel his enhanced body. He immediately leapt into the air with an excited shout. Let's go. After landing at another unfamiliar spot, Luke Dean smugly gave himself a like. Perfect. No sooner had he finished than the scene ahead literally broadened his horizons. Faced with a group of half-clad beauties opposite him, Luke Dean seemed temporarily lost for words. What? This Ha Yen, who had just slid her garment off her shoulder, suddenly froze when she heard a strange sound. That lively sight also made the blood in Luke Dean lose control. This reaction made her whole body tremble from embarrassment and anger. Once she recovered, Ha Yen and her sisters immediately grabbed their weapons and shouted, "There's a pervert. Catch him quickly." Luke Dean ran for his life, but didn't forget to explain. It's not what you think. You misunderstand me. I didn't do it on purpose. Hearing this, they grew even angrier. Don't make excuses, you scoundrel. Feeling more wronged than Daonya, he tried to shout louder, but I really didn't mean to. Before he could prove his innocence, Luke Dean felt his eyeballs drop when he saw that the exit he had chosen was a death trap. Why is it a dead end again? Ha Yen's group of course didn't miss the chance. Stop. Let's see which way you run, you damn pervert. He stammered, trying to salvage his image. It's not like that. I didn't. She wouldn't listen and cut him off. Don't waste words, sisters. Beat him nearly to death, then hand him to the head of the department. Someone nearby immediately shouted. Agreed. With the opening already mismatched in force, the ending meant Luke Dean was unlikely to escape a thrashing. Hey, don't hit me. It was the old gatekeeper who showed me the way. The gatekeeper. He did it on purpose. The dean's office was located on the top floor of the administrative building, occupying the most striking position in the whole area. Inside, a calm but slightly doubtful voice sounded. You are Luke Dean, the one who came to register today. His face swollen like a pig's head. He stammered an explanation. Hello, miss. My name is Luke Dean, from Luke Village on the southern border. I am a new student admitted through the special entrance exam. And also, that I didn't mean to peek. It was just a misunderstanding. And Gaiet Chuong looked down at the papers to carefully confirm. Spirit Master of Yellow Rank, Early Stage, 2nd Grade Aptitude. Once studied at the Preparatory Spirit Master School, passed our special test. Father is a retired sergeant who earned 3rd class merit in battle. Tu Din propped her chin in thought. Considered a good seed. Before turning 20 should be able to break through to the profound realm. In her mind, a rough plan quickly formed. Place this child into class 10. So she directly decided aloud. Zio and Gaiet, handle enrollment procedures for student Luke Dean. We will accept him. He was startled by such favor, secretly swallowed his doubts with a gulp. That look, what does it mean? Since he was now part of the school, Tu Din added, all right, untie him first. Ha Yen immediately protested. But Luke Dean leapt up shouting, I already said this is just a misunderstanding. I wasn't peeking. She choked before forcing out a single word. You. Ha Yen also knew she had no reason, yet the anger in her chest would not subside. Tu Din, seeing this, deliberately fanned the flames. Luke Dean, you will enter class 10 with student Ha Yen. He dazedly agreed. All right. Then she quickly turned to her second target. Ha Yen, you are the class monitor. Take him around the school to get familiar, then hand him over to instructor O of your class. Right? Stop by the internal affairs office to get his uniform first. Though her whole body trembled with anger, Ha Yen could only grudgingly answer, yes. Tu Din, satisfied, turned to her secretary, Zio and Gaiet. Give Luke Dean's profile to Ha Yen. She softly replied yes while trying to hide a smile at the corner of her mouth. And Gaiet Chuong swiftly compressed all his profile into a small black card, then formally handed it over with both hands. Inside here is all of student Luke Dean's information. Please keep it safe. Ha Yen awkwardly received it and answered yes. After procedures were finished, she shot a sharp look at him. Ha Yen clenched her jaw and spat out each word. Follow me, student Luke Dean. He was so frightened by the deadly pressure that his smile looked uglier than crying. Achieving her intended intimidation, she immediately changed attitude faster than flipping a page. Student Ha Yen takes her leave. Half understanding, half confused, he stiffly followed. Student Luke Dean takes his leave. Once the two adversaries had gone, The dean's office again sank into a strange silence. Ngayat Chuang's gaze unintentionally fell on the stack of papers on the desk. As if remembering something, she spoke up at once. "Oh, that's right." She raised a letter and read its contents aloud. "A report about a missing student." The report from Assistant Instructor Trin Ngia said. "Student number 16 of Class 10, Tong Van Chuang, has been absent for 3 days and remains unreachable." Tu Din repeated with doubt, "Missing." Understanding her meaning, Ngayat Chuang explained carefully. Instructor Trin asks for instruction whether to report the missing student to the Security Bureau. Tu Din puffed on her pipe as she searched her memory. "Tong Van Chuang, I recall this child, a crippled one born with incomplete spirit veins. Wasn't it the Tong family of Vin and City who got him in here through connections?" She awkwardly admitted, "Yes, that's right." Ngayat Chuang organized the notes a bit and read out the key points. According to the last student who saw Tong Van Chuang, he was asked in the dormitory, "Today is April 9th, right?" Afterward they heard him say, "Still 3 days left," things like that. And then he went missing without a trace. Before she could finish, the smoke already choked her face. Cough, cough. "Dean, why are you smoking inside the office?" Tu Din replied with a look full of implication while her mouth never left the pipe. Next she directly blew a long stream of smoke into her secretary's face. Ngayat Chuang instantly shouted in frustration, "Ah, Dean, are you seriously listening to me or not?" Tu Din quickly changed the subject. I know, Zio Ngayat, you're too wordy. The situation of this child is complicated. Let me contact his family first." At that same time Ha Yen was still mechanically carrying out her role as guide. Over there is the staff housing of Kovo. Next to it the dormitory. Left side is the alchemy lab. Right side leads to the teaching building. Tomorrow you will have classes in spirit general structure and basic encoded formations in the lecture hall. Luke Dean, keeping some distance behind, curiously called out, "Senior sister, where are we going now?" She walked straight ahead and replied dryly, "Now I'm taking you to the battle arena. This afternoon is the Spirit General Combat class." Ha Yen kept droning on, not realizing the one she was speaking to had stopped listening halfway. "Right, later you need to change into the uniform you just received. Our class instructor really hates students wearing casual clothes." When she realized she'd been talking to deaf ears, her temper flared even more. "Hey, hurry up, don't dawdle." Luke Dean gave no reply, making Ha Yen unconsciously glance back. "What's wrong?" His eyes widened with shimmering emotion as he stammered, This. Luke Dean moved his lips for a long while before squeezing out the question. This is." She stepped closer and pressed, "You mean this statue?" Standing before the symbol of the academy, even Ha Yen restrained her temper. "This is the frame of the legendary hero from 400 years ago." She solemnly enunciated each word clearly, named Spirit General Tatu. Ha Yen seized the chance to give Luke Dean, the rustic, an advanced lesson. According to legend in the eastern continent, thousands of years ago, the greatest fierce beasts appeared in the human world. They were cold-blooded killers, devouring all intelligent life and civilized creations. Humans could not resist, to the point of near extinction. At the most desperate moment, immortals descended from the heavens. They used the stars as bones, the souls as outer shells, summoning magical images outside of spirit generals. With divine power they wiped out the beasts. The immortals left behind the power of the spirit generals as soul jades, which would choose those destined as heroes and grant them spirit general strength, while also teaching humans secret methods to cultivate spirit souls. Those with the aptitude to practice were called spirit soul masters. Gaining the power of both spirit masters and spirit generals, mankind gradually grew stronger. 1,000 years ago, a wise man of humanity imitated the divine methods of the immortals and created countless spirit generals. From then on, countless spirit masters followed the path of heroes, opening a new continent from the lands once destroyed by the beasts. Facing the Mecca before them, Ha Yen solemnly introduced. The first dean was chosen by Spirit General Tatu as a hero. He controlled Tatu to conquer Nam Chao for Thindu Nation and established the Nam Chao Kovo Academy 400 years ago. His spirit general also transformed into a soul jade sealed within this statue to protect the academy and await the next hero. Luke Dean's eyes shone like stars, full of admiration. Ah, senior sister. Hearing you say this makes me feel a kind of power boiling inside. Ha Yen immediately turned cold. HMPH, who's your senior sister? Don't drag relations with me. He suddenly cracked his knuckles and solemnly declared, I've decided. I, Luke Dean, swear to become a hero like the first Dean, with the 8 generals of Thien as my goal. I will become the strongest spirit general. As soon as he finished, Spirit General Tattoo suddenly released a wave of pressure. What is that? Ha Yen's heart suddenly raised a daring suspicion. This is a resonance of soul force. Could it be the soul jade of Tattoo? Luke Dean, sweating cold, stammered, Senior sister, just now did something shine. What is this situation? But when he came back to his senses, the mecha had already returned to normal. What's going on? Why is there no more reaction? Not far away, Ha Yen cursed inwardly in madness, the first Dean's spirit general resonating with this idiot. This idiot is the next master of Tattoo. No, impossible, it must be an illusion. How could the first Dean's spirit general ever choose someone like this? Oblivious to her resentment, Luke Dean kept fiddling with the steel frame in his hands. It really reacted just now. He suddenly stuck out his tongue and did something out of all script. Maybe try dabbing some spit on it. Ha Yen could no longer hold back and immediately rushed up to land a punch like heaven's strike. You behave properly for me. Don't touch the tattoo statue anymore. She dragged this guy inside in anger. Follow me over here. Go find the instructor and report too. Luke Dean, even though beaten into a pig head, still stubbornly argued. Yes. But just now Tattoo reacted to me. The two of them were noisy, completely unaware the whole process had already been seen by someone fated. Van Chuong lazily leaned against the pillar, murmuring to himself, people of the eastern continent 16 years ago still believe the legend of immortals descending, huh? Saying so, he looked down at his hand, showing a smile of satisfaction from the bottom of his heart. The preparation is almost done. This time, definitely not let them sacrifice in vain here again. In another corner of the academy, familiar loud voices were resounding. Come on, advance, don't be afraid of him. On the performance stage, the battle between the representative of Class 10 and Class 7 was gradually coming to the end. The shining blade swung as if to split the space into 2 halves. The final result was number 27 finishing in the joy of the whole school. The green mech surely wins. Well fought. So strong, truly worthy of a senior. Trin Ngia looked at the board, speaking with fairness. Instructor O, the student piloting the green mech is also not bad, right? Do you want to give him 1 more point? Oh boy reacted as if hearing something ridiculous. Add point. With such messy fighting. On the battlefield only death. He awkwardly smiled bitterly. This. At that moment Ha Yen came forward, breaking their awkward air. Report. Class 10 student Ha Yen bringing new student Luke Dean to report. Oh boy caught the keyword, immediately turned his eyes with interest. Luke Dean, the one who passed the entrance test. Hearing his name, he immediately straightened up by the standard. Yes, report instructor. My name is Luke Dean, 18 years old. From Luke family at Southern Borderland, realm early Huang stage. She did not listen to the end, already impatiently cut off. Stop. He shut his mouth, tilting his head full of doubt. Oh boy coldly went straight to the main point. I don't like listening to those useless words. Ha Yen, she was called by name, instantly answered yes. She swept her eyes toward the pair of enemies, then dropped down a heavy bomb. The next match you fight him. Luke Dean turned pale with fear, carefully said. But, instructor, Opposite to him Ha Yen was grinning ferociously. Good, very good, I am very happy to beat you once. The classmates sitting on the stands kept shouting and cheering. Woo, that's good. Go class monitor. Teach that newcomer a lesson. Newcomer, be careful. The strength of the class monitor is top 1, top 2 in the class. Trin India was frightened by the aura just now, so he hurriedly asked, well, Luke Dean, have you gotten used to controlling the spirit general yet? He mumbled for a while, then listed out a little meager experience. It's so-so. When I was a reserve spirit master, I had already learned it. My old man once served in the army also taught me a lot. But I still haven't received a spirit general. Seeing that, Trinengia immediately responded. This is the sole talisman of Iveen Thuk. Today one student didn't come. You just temporarily use his match number 16. Put your soul force into the talisman according to its guidance to create a spirit general. Luke Dean shouted loudly as if finding gold. Ah. This is truly the soul talisman of the spirit general, Iveen Thuk, created by the Kovu Academy. The shape, the patterns, the feeling, surely not ordinary, much more advanced than my old man's jade pendant. The opponent's ridiculous behavior just now left him speechless. A moment later the match also began. Ha Yen quickly took out the soul talisman to start with great momentum. Spirit General Assemble. Luke Dean immediately followed close behind. Spirit General Assemble. A series of sophisticated mechanical sounds rang noisily across the arena. When the two spirit armors were successfully summoned, she immediately threatened to overwhelm the opponent. Newcomer, I will not show mercy to you. I will definitely beat you until you forget all the images just now. He not only was not afraid, but even added fuel to the fire. That's good. Fighting must be done with full strength. The crowd outside kept urging them. Hey, quickly die newcomer, class monitor. 1/kill him. It's almost evening. Don't delay our dinner. Responding to the audience's sentiment, Ha Yen immediately stomped hard to gain momentum. Then she stormed forward like a tempest. Newcomer, take this move. Ha Yen swung the sword down, shattering the ground. Luckily Luke Dean had dodged to the side in time. Not stopping there, she continued pressing the opponent with her twin swords. Where do you run? He desperately blocked while constantly flattering. Wow, so fast. The two struggled back and forth for a long time. She struck once, I dodged once. Until Ha Yen helplessly roared, stop running. Where is your spirit just now? Trinengia watching the comedy right on the arena was truly eye-opening. What the heck? This Luke Dean, fighting Ha Yen but just hiding east and west. Luckily Oh Boy spoke up in his defense, so Luke Dean still had a little dignity. Don't underestimate him. His footwork seems chaotic, but every time he avoids Ha Yen's attacks. He was left doubting life by those words. That's strong, huh? Back to the match. The two were no longer chasing but were clashing fiercely. Even so, Luke Dean gradually fell into a disadvantage. He clenched his teeth to endure. Senior's match power is truly strong. 2 realm difference between spirit masters can cause such a huge obstacle. The audience below mocked. Hey, newcomer, fight back. What kind of fight is this? The newcomer is only early Hong stage, while Ha Yen is already late Hong stage. How can he win? That's right. 2 realms apart, the strength and intensity of battle armor must be at least 4 parts different. Under the tremendous pressure of Ha Yen, Luke Dean only knew running was the best tactic. No, cannot clash head to head, completely cannot resist, just keep distance first. Seeing that, she immediately fired the laser. Want to run? He defended with the shield instantly, and very quickly discovered the fatal weakness of the opponent. He Senior seems not good at controlling attack methods. At this distance it doesn't hurt or itch anymore. Luke Dean kept showing his face, provoking Ha Yen's blood to boil. Damn. Not hurt, not itch, huh? This is you seeking death. I am angry now. She gathered power, preparing the twin sword finishing move. Luke Dean, take this strike. The crowd under the stands was thrilled. Wow, there, using that move again. They kept gaping at the tension tight as strings. That brat can even make Ha Yen use that move. There are 2 possibilities. This time he's dead for sure. This move the shield cannot withstand. Trinengia sitting below was no less flustered. Not good. Ha Yen is fighting seriously. This move Luke Dean cannot withstand. Before the moment both were about to collide, the piercing screech from her technique alone was enough to terrify the opponent. A second later, the whole sky was filled with a sea of lightning. Ha Yen struck straight down with a magnetized sword, making Luke Dean scream loudly, Oi oi, pain pain pain. The audience below instantly grimaced and held their heads. Hey, just looking already hurts. Too miserable, too miserable. A newcomer can withstand Ha Yen. Trin Engia's eyes bulged so wide they almost popped out. What? But old boy concluded completely differently. The newcomer has won. The audience member sitting behind immediately questioned, Oh instructor, you are not joking, right? The newcomer was already beaten crippled. She calmly demanded, look carefully again. When the dust gradually settled, it was also the moment the result was clear. The red mech, though heavily damaged, but his sword was already pointing straight at the weakness of the blue mech. By the rules, Luke Dean has won. Ha Yen, being judged, lost with shock to the core. Luke Dean, though exhausted, was still very deserving. As for her, since it was the first time tasting defeat, she was not yet used to it. I lost. The classmates sitting below were not much better. That newcomer actually defeated the class monitor 2 realms higher. The corner of Oh Boy's mouth curved with deep satisfaction. Then she solemnly announced, today's combat practice everyone performed not bad, especially the battle of Luke Dean and Ha Yen. Luke Dean with early home stage 1 against late home stage. Luke Dean, share with everyone your way of fighting. He was so excited that he ignored the person next to him being extremely upset. Well, this matter is quite strange. Senior sister attacked too fiercely, I had no chance to counterattack. Her mech accuracy was better than mine. Strength, battle armor, speed were all better than mine. But when I observed her movements carefully, I found she rarely used soul force to increase speed. I guessed maybe her soul force was insufficient, or her fighting habit leaned toward defense. Inwardly, Oh Boy could not help but admire. In the middle of fighting a stronger opponent, yet still able to calmly judge, this guy is interesting. Luke Dean, still naive like a bewildered fawn, crushed Ha Yen's pride. I kept distance and discovered senior sister, not good at using soul force. Earlier I found her temperament quite hot-headed, so I intentionally provoked. Indeed it worked. She poured all the frustration till now and shouted straight at his face, enough, damn it. You only won because of luck. And also, stop calling me senior sister. Call me class monitor. Being scolded like that, he suddenly remembered. Right, wait a second. The mech number 16 I borrowed earlier was wrecked by senior sister. Do I have to pay compensation? Ha Yen could not hold it anymore and cursed. Are you an idiot? Spirit generals are summoned by spirit masters. There is no such thing as being wrecked. Suddenly she realized something was wrong, so she turned sharply back. Don't ask stupid questions like that anymore. Mech number 16 is not Tong's. Trin Engia looked completely disheartened when having to mention the owner of that mech. That's right, it belongs to that useless young master 3 minutes Tong Ban Chuong. That guy has skipped class 3 days already. If still not seen, I will report him missing. Luke Dean, not knowing, still twisted nonsense into it. 3 minutes. What does that mean? That aspect, huh? The classmates seized the chance to gossip openly. Heard his heavenly soul is defective. This lifetime don't hope to advance, so the summon only lasts 3 minutes. After that instantly dissipates. The trash of trash. Keep your voices down. He is a little marquis who used connections to enter this school. Oh Boy, fuming, hated not being able to punish them, so she dismissed curtly. Enough, all shut up. It's not early anymore. Hurry to the canteen for dinner. All dismissed. Suddenly from nowhere appeared a spirit body cracking into pieces. The cracking sound louder each moment. The whole academy immediately sank into darkness, heralding misfortune to come. Ha Yen involuntarily shivered in fear. What is happening? Although it was only early evening now, but why suddenly so dark? Suddenly a barrage of lightning struck straight down on the academy. They shattered even the invisible barrier. A second later, a horde of fierce beasts crawled through the rifts to get inside. The warning bell instantly rang everywhere. Oh Boy and Trin Engia were startled by the sound just now. What? This is the alarm. The students immediately rushed out to check the situation. It's over. The rift has appeared. They screamed in fear. It's a beast horde. The fierce beasts have arrived. The demon beasts quickly leapt down below the academy. The ground beneath immediately cracked open while everyone kept shouting in panic. It's a fissure. The beasts are here. Run. The beasts are erupting. The beasts are here. Run quickly. Flee fast. Amid the chaos, a demon beast roared, ready to release a lightning sphere. The students below helplessly shouted, "Done, done for." Just as they finished speaking, the light swept through, leaving nothing behind. The buildings inside the academy collapsed in an instant. The energy beam continued to rush straight ahead. Oh boy immediately called for assistance. Trin instructor, Trin Engia quickly dashed off. Understood. He used his shield alone to withstand the beam. Soul gather, the Iveen Thuck match of the instructor. The aftershock from the previous impact was so strong that everyone struggled to remain standing. After a while, when things temporarily settled down, a mechanical sound suddenly rang out. Ting, warning, the mech was 73% damaged. Soul force reached 22.6% and rising. Trin Engia panicked. What? On the other side, the horde of beasts had just arrived at their location. They were gluttonous-type beasts. Oh boy stared at the monsters and counted silently. 2, 4, 6. Gluttonous type. 9 of them. No, 10. While waiting for the machinery to restore the mech's condition. Ting. Soul force is full. Ting. The mech's exterior recovered 2%. He took the opportunity to shout loudly to alert all students of Class 10. This is not an enemy you can fight. All retreat. Leave the combat area. However, Hai Yan insisted on helping. Oh instructor, can we stay and assist in any way? Luke Dean impatiently chimed in. Yes, indeed. Actually we. She immediately dashed off, leaving the two of them behind. Obeying orders, retreat. Hai Yan tried to call after them but failed. Damn it. Meanwhile, a large clawed beast was about to strike in front of Trin Engia, making him scream in panic. It's over. Suddenly Oh boy's voice rang out loudly. Soul, gather. Then she immediately appeared to rescue her teammate. Get out. Luke Dean and Hai Yan exclaimed together. So strong, the Iveen Thuck white mech is the instructor's specialized mech. They had barely celebrated when a greedy beast discovered them. It raised its paw, ready to send them all to heaven, when a voice shouted, "Careful behind." Thanks to that, Oh boy successfully killed the demon beast. Strange, just now the beast's movements seemed to slow down. Trin Engia kindly reminded, "Oh instructor, if more beasts appear, relying on just the two of us may be." But she immediately dismissed the cowardly thought. Shut up. Then Oh boy commanded loudly, "Before reinforcements arrive, we must hold back these beasts." He responded immediately. Understood. Luke Dean, seeing the unfavorable situation, could not help but worry. This, class monitor. What should we do now? Hai Yan turned back, calling the others to leave. Let's go. Obey orders. You also see, staying here will only be a hindrance, but don't slack off. He turned to follow but kept his eyes fixed on the two instructors. Luke Dean, though unwilling, had no choice but to trail after Hai Yan. Suddenly he noticed several sparks moving across the sky. That is, by Oh boy's side. The screen in front suddenly flashed. The command room's signal. And Gaiet Chuong appeared and said, "The command room is calling Oh boy's Class 10 mech. The reinforcement squad is coming. Form into a company, with Oh boy as team leader. Mission: defend the arena. Do not let the beasts escape." Oh boy immediately responded. Understood. Just seconds later, a squad of mechs appeared before them. Keeping the two instructors waiting, student reinforcements have arrived. Thanks to that, she was filled with morale. Very good. Thank you all for coming. From now on all mechs obey my orders. Form a battle line of 12 mechs against the beasts. Everyone responded while arranging the defensive formation right in front of the arena. Understood. Ho Duck formation. Tu Din, hitting his professional instincts, fired off an analytical statement. Ho Duck formation. The central commander in charge of luring the enemy. The two wings supporting the kills, able to leverage the geographical advantage and suitable for long-term defensive cooperation. And Gaiet Chuong could not help but admire the opponent's intelligence, truly deserving of being the white fox on the northern battlefield. Oh boy, facing 8 o'clock, Oh boy's team had successfully established a defensive line. Then she quickly reported the combat situation. Reinforcements have arrived. Taking the fissure as the center, the encirclement of the demon beasts is complete. inviting the team leader to give the next orders. Tu Din praised enthusiastically. Very good. She loudly issued a rallying call. Everyone pay attention. Defend this position to the death. Encircle and kill the beasts inside. Persist until the wave of demon beasts ends. The call ignited the morale of all the students on the battlefield. Understood, understood. The soldiers straining against the beasts also united in determination. Understood. Suddenly, the sharp hand of a gluttonous beast, carrying demonic energy, lunged at the person in front. The soldier froze, watching the monster in front of him torn in two like a sheet of scrap paper. The sudden attack blew up a corner of the training ground. Debris was hurled freely into the air by the shockwave. At the same time, outside the building, a blast occurred, rocks and earth exploding in all directions. Ha Yen and Luke Dean sprinted desperately from the pursuing gluttonous beast behind them. Why are there beasts here too? Why do they keep chasing us? Why did the speed of this beast suddenly increase? Ha Yen suddenly turned and commanded her companion, Luke Dean, listen carefully. I will hold back this beast for a moment. You run straight to underground gate 9. He seemed to have no confidence, shouting fearfully, Gate 9, but I don't know the way. She gave a few instructions. You run toward the T-letter 1A3 T-letter 1AEB statue over there. Gate 9 is right behind T-letter 1A3 T-letter 1EB. Then stop decisively and block the enemy soul. The moment the signal sounded, Ha Yen formed her soul to resist the 1,000-pound weight of the gluttonous beast. Luke Dean, running in panic, exclaimed, damn it. On this side, Ha Yen had fallen into a disadvantage, her arm firmly gripping her head, unable to struggle. This scene made Luke Dean scream anxiously, class monitor. She didn't allow him a moment of distraction and shouted, run fast, run straight to the T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB statue. Luke Dean, hearing this, lowered his head, expression unseen. Only his trembling hand clutched tightly, revealing the torrent of his emotions. Luke Dean could do nothing but desperately carry out the assigned mission. Helplessness surged in him like silkworms devouring leaves. Why am I so useless? Why can I only run, only watch others sacrifice themselves to save me? If only I had strength. A thought suddenly sparked in Luke Dean's mind, his eyes wide. If only I had a soul general. That's right, the T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB statue. Maybe the T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB statue could help me. If I am the one chosen by T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB's soul gem, if I could gain the power of the T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB soul general. Luke Dean collapsed onto the ground, yet remained determined to protect his companion. Class monitor, hold on a little longer, wait for me to save you. He suddenly noticed the long-awaited statue right in front of him, and whispered with hope, T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB. Though exhausted, Luke Dean's spirit was unusually uplifted. It's the T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB statue. First generation headmaster, lend me your power. T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB soul general, please accept me. Suddenly, he was startled by an unusual situation nearby. What? The distant figure made Luke Dean alert. There's someone atop the statue. What's going on? The T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB statue, yet it has been tampered with. In that person's hand is, could it be, the soul gem of the T-letter 1EA3 T-letter 1EB soul general? He tried to act boldly, questioning the stranger. You are who? At this moment, Luke Dean had not yet realized that this would be the introduction of a future legend. I am Tong Van Chuong. I have returned. The memories of past lives surged continuously like a flood in Van Chuong's mind. Van Chuong, Tong Van Chuong, save us. Yet he only knew to stand frozen, repeating meaningless words, sorry, for those I could not save. Van Chuong saw Kovu sacrificing himself to save them. Tong Van Chuong, quickly lead them to escape. Remembering the dignified posture of the person who once looked down on him, sorry Van Chuong Kaka. The family would not allow you to marry someone with a flawed heavenly soul. The aged voice of the elder was also engraved in his mind. The soldiers of the Tong family vowed to live and die for Vin and City. You fundamentally cannot join the battle. Leave this place. preserve part of the Tong family's bloodline. The last words of the brothers in Haiyan Jayab Guard, Van Chuong Dai Ka. Perhaps we will not pass this gate. Let me distract them. If there is a next life, I will still seek you. Those important people who sacrificed for Van Chuong's life. You still owe me 3 conditions. Remember to repay them in the next life. He recalled those who once protected him. Tong Van Chuong, do not return. You cannot save Thien Du Quoc. Even the insults of the invincible enemy. Tong Van Chuong, your useless self will always be my defeated subordinate. The system of Tin Chu, the kindness of the people of the southern continent, the excitement of the people of the western continent, even the lost words of those from the northern continent, humanity is about to perish, all appeared clearly in his heart. Countless whispers calling from the evil spirits had harassed Van Chuong for decades. All those past memories were crushed and shattered by his strong will. Blinding light also passed through the windows of that room, just like how Van Chuong welcomed a bright new future. His whispers sounded with relief, finally breaking through. Van Chuong sat cross-legged on the mattress, with a few invisible streams of aura floating around him. The remnants from the previous battle still lingered on his body, from early Hong Jai to peak Hong Jai, taking only 3 days, continuously breaking through 4 realms. For a body still flawed in heavenly soul, it was somewhat exaggerated, but sadly there was no more time then. Van Chuong inadvertently recalled the final tragedies of his past life. Facing tens of thousands of enemies he could not defeat, he chose to perish together with them. The strange reincarnation was unbelievable even to him, yet unexpectedly, it returned him 16 years back. Himself 16 years ago. Because of the flawed heavenly soul, he was the useless one abandoned by the family. His father brought him to Nam Chao Kovu Academy to protect him. At that time, he did not understand his father's intention. Van Chuong, embarrassed, recalled his youth, relying on the status of a minor marquis, living recklessly and absurdly. Later, the Kovu Academy was attacked by monsters. The Tong family was wiped out. Thien Du Quoc fell. He just summoned the Tin Chu system, and with the help of the Tin Chu system, he survived countless near-death moments. Van Chuong greatly cherished this mysterious companion. It was a chance encounter from his previous life. It had some strange abilities, and could even copy soul generals for him to use. Unexpectedly, it also followed him in rebirth and issued a request as usual. The Soul Master system checked my current situation. It immediately displayed a series of your status information. Resetting the system. Apex Huang level. Defective heavenly soul. The number of soul generals is 0. Van Chuong stared deeply into his own thoughts, although he did not know why the system also revived with him. It was true that the soul generals he had collected before along with everything else were all lost. Van Chuong's hand clenched tightly, full of determination. He had to start over from the beginning. The day I was reborn was the 9th of April, the 11th of September, which is also tonight. The Kivu Academy will be attacked. He took out a bottle of mysterious pills. A few lines of plans flowed through his mind. In these 3 days, relying on the pill refining technique he had learned in his previous life on the southern continent, he would break through from early Huang level to the peak in his previous life. Nearly 50 years old when he healed the heavenly soul, but left sequely, still stuck at saint level with 2 battle achievements, needing soul pills to maintain physical strength. Now, as long as he refined 1 rejuvenation pill, he could completely restore the heavenly soul without side effects. At the central eastern part of Yuanding City, Van Chuong strolled to the Nanju pharmacy. He approached the counter and made his request. Hello. I came to collect the Tianlong root I ordered a few days ago. The staff member also kindly assisted. Please wait a moment. I will check. It is still being transported. It will arrive this noon. Once it arrives, we will inform you immediately. This delay made Van Chuong a little weary. Still have to wait. Van Chuong felt lost among the crowd with a jumble of thoughts in his head. The past could not compare to the present. Now Tianlong root is easily obtainable, and the last ingredient can cure the heavenly soul, even if it cannot heal it. Using it for Ivine practice would not be wasted. He did not want to waste a single moment, so he planned to cultivate himself. Even if he obtained the Tianlong route, he would still have to wait a few hours. So now he would go to the arena to perform and set up several formations to deal with the fierce beasts, hoping to minimize casualties. Van Chuong returned to Kivu Academy, continuing his career of cultivating his skills. His self-admonition echoed from some corner of the academy. The last place, set it up here. The formations learned in the northern continent were probably 100 years ahead of this eastern continent. Unfortunately, the current level was too low. He could only set up formations to reduce speed and slow down the movements of the fierce beasts. The excited voice of Ha Yen rang nearby. According to the legends of the eastern continent, immortals descended from the sky, summoning external battle avatars outside the Soul Generals. Van Chuong heard this chirping sound, slightly puzzled. He turned his head to look around. Not far away, Ha Yen acted as a senior sister, passionately explaining history. The first headmaster was a hero depicted by the Soul General Tattoo from Selection. Luke Dean also enthusiastically praised, "Wow, hearing you say that I can feel a surge of energy." These words reached Van Chuong's ears, making him sneer meaningfully. Soul General Tattoo. On this day of his previous life, I also ran to the person like a stray dog to beg for your power, but received no response at all. He cunningly issued a request to the system. This time it will be different. Soul Master System, scan this statue. It used its strange ability to complete the assigned task, having detected the unclaimed soul jade of the Soul General. Do you want to forcibly extract it? The soul jade suddenly emitted a holy light that made Luke Dean stammer in astonishment. What? Ha Yen also widened her eyes, realizing this unpredictable situation. Is this soul force resonance? Could it be the soul jade of Tattoo? Luke Dean spun around, hoping to get an explanation from her senior sister. Just now something lit up. What is this situation? Van Chuong enjoyed the embarrassment of the two while inquiring about the situation. Soul Master System, has it copied the Soul General Tattoo yet? And received a detailed answer. The unclaimed soul jade cannot be copied. It can be placed into the spatial system after finding its owner to proceed with copying. He pondered for a while and then decided on a plan. If it does not work now, to avoid causing chaos, we will take it when the fierce beasts come at night. Just at that moment, a new message notification attracted Van Chuong's attention. The Tianlong route shipment has arrived. Everything here is ready to go pick up the goods first. Must quickly refine the rejuvenation pill. I have returned. No one will sacrifice in vain. He once again strode down the street toward the Nanju pharmacy. Suddenly his attention was caught by a young man with his face covered on the street. Van Chuong glanced secretly with a bad premonition. That person it cannot be. How could he appear here? He fixed his gaze on that mysterious figure and simultaneously issued a command. System, scan that person for me. Even though it was only a fleeting feeling, Van Chuong firmly trusted his own intuition and sought to verify it. System Soul Master, scan this person for me. After observing the energy points on the opponent, he was able to identify the person's identity. Indeed, the soul force condensed in the danshan within the chest. This was a cultivation method only found in the northern countries. A person from Diluan State. Van Chuong automatically rearranged the memories in his mind. Diluan State bordered the northern frontier of Thiendu State and was also one of the 3 countries inheriting the orthodox culture of the eastern continent. In the memories of his previous life, about 3 years later, the warlike Diluan State broke the previous balance, launching a comprehensive invasion of Thiendu State. The neighboring countries were gradually drawn into the war, which eventually became the trigger for the destruction of the eastern continent. Thinking of this, a sense of doubt arose in Van Chuong's heart. Why did a person from Diluan appear here at this time? Could there be some secret behind it that I do not know? A while later, at the Nanju Pharmacy, the branch in Yuanding City, Van Chuong had just arrived when a staff member warmly welcomed him. Welcome, please come in and take a look. Now the golden bright powder and my essence solution are on promotion, and the newly arrived concentration pills were personally refined by the second-rank pill master of our Nanju headquarters. Han Nhi kept chattering endlessly, which gave him the chance to interject. I have come to collect the Tianlong Fang I ordered 3 days ago. My surname is Tong. Realizing her slight embarrassment, she immediately gestured to make way. So it's you. Please wait in the VIP area. Here Van Chuong was approached by another female staff member who brought the goods and stated the price. Mr. Tong, the Chanlong Fang you ordered at our shop 3 days ago has now arrived. The original price is 130,000 Thien Du. Because you chose express shipping, after deducting the 20% deposit you previously paid, you still need to pay. But as she spoke smoothly, she was interrupted by him. Wait, Van Chuong calmly continued while rummaging through his pocket. I do not have enough cash right now. However, Fuang Lai, a bit embarrassed, hurriedly informed him, sorry sir, the shop has a policy of no installments. If you cannot pay in full, you cannot take the goods. He then took out a talisman card and placed the pills he had personally refined as an exchange. I want to sell these pills to you. She hesitated briefly at this stubborn customer. Sorry sir, our shop does not accept pills. But when she picked up one vial to examine it closely, Fuang Lai was shocked. What? This is a third-grade soul consolidation pill. Then she examined each of the other vials in turn, one after another, making her exclaim in admiration. These are concentration pills. The quality is even higher than that refined by the grandmasters of our main shop. Could this be a rare fourth-grade soul consolidation pill? What is this? How did I not recognize them? Finally, she could only look up and make a proposal in infinite embarrassment, as this was the first time encountering such a situation. Sorry sir, may I take these pills to consult with our chief pharmacist? Van Chuong calmly took the long box containing the item. Cheerfully accepted. Can, take it away. The dragon scale I take first. Do you have an alchemy room here? Lend it to me for a while. Fuang Lai was afraid she did not hear clearly, so asked again to be sure, then honestly replied, alchemy room. Yes, but because the shop does not have an alchemist staying often, so the alchemy room has not been used for a long time. Van Chuong also did not complain about that place. It's fine, I just need a quiet place that can block soul force fluctuations. She heard that and was relieved, so immediately signaled to lead the way. All right, then follow me. Not long after, the door of the alchemy room appeared before their eyes. However, when seeing the inside covered full of spider webs, Van Chuong directly collapsed in spirit. An old furnace style from 60 years ago. Looks really shabby. Pity this one is broken. Actually, I kind of wanted to try it. At this point, he could only shake his head and give up. AI, forget it. Luckily, I was at the southern continent following human race academic illusory cultivation, combined with formation fusion. Without furnace also can refine pills. Saying so, Van Chuong began to arrange formation in the middle of the room. Layers of matrices interweaving, creating a very complex structure. 4 directions fusion formation. Complete. He brought out the necessary spirit herbs and checked them once to avoid mistakes. Vong Tran Thao, Due Si Hoa, Tu Lin Ko, Sat Tak, Keep Tabat Ma, and the last one, Dragon Scale. Van Chuong took out the missing medicine from the box he just bought. Dragon Scale quickly blended inside the formation like the other ingredients. Immediately, red light from inside flashed dazzlingly to the point that from outside the room, it could still be seen. Meanwhile, at the management room, Fuang Lai had cleverly brought the pill bottles to her superior for inspection. Chief Manager, that guest wanted to use pills as collateral, so gave me these pills. Inside there is even one pill I don't recognize. Please look. At first Hong Fuang was still calm, examining each bottle. 3rd rank condensate pill. Soul restoring pill. This is soul condensing pill. Then this is. But when seeing the pill inside the bottle emitting golden light, he was so shocked that his eyes almost fell out. This is flame pill. Are you sure that guest wants to sell these pills to our guild? Fuang Lai was startled by such a strong reaction, hesitated, then confirmed. Yes, right, that guest said so. Hong Fuang jumped up from the chair, urgently wanting to see the owner of these pills. Where is that person now? She also became flustered following. At the alchemy room. He wanted to borrow to use for a while, so I led him there. I forgot to tell you, the furnace is broken. But he's so young, can't possibly know alchemy right. Maybe he just wants to find a soundproof place to talk to someone. Contrary to Fuang Lai's assumption, Van Chuong not only knew alchemy, but was about to refine a pill with a level not to be underestimated. Begin. After several hours of exhausting effort sweating, he finally held the finished product in hand. Completed, 6th rank pill, regeneration pill, upper quality passable. Then without hesitation he directly swallowed it down. Thanks to the catalyst effect from the pill, Van Chuong relied on it to sit down, cultivating to stabilize inner force. Now my soul veins finally can recover. On his face suddenly appeared strange straight lines. At the same time, outside the alchemy room, Hong Fuong and Fuong Lai were standing there staring at the door. But waiting forever, still no one came out. He frowned, questioning his subordinate. No movement, full 2 hours already. Are you sure that guest always inside this alchemy room? She shyly scratched her head, tone not so certain. Yes, chief manager. He seemed to be inside arranging some prohibition formation. The door can't be opened from outside. As soon as Fuong Lai finished speaking, the door of the alchemy room made a ting sound, then opened. Van Chuong just stepped outside, then immediately saw 2 people standing waiting in front of the door. At an angle where no one paid attention, the corner of his mouth slightly lifted up, secretly smiling in his heart. Ha ha, took the bait already. Fuong Lai first stepped out to introduce the 2 people to each other. Mr. Tong, you finished already? This is the chief manager of our shop. Shopkeeper, this is exactly Mr. Tong. Hong Fuong followed that gesture, clasping hands to greet. Mr. Tong, pleasure. I am Hong Fuong. His eyes constantly observed Van Chuong from top to bottom, inwardly evaluating once. Looking at the clothes that this young man wore, it seemed to be the outfit of the Xuanyuan Institute. Taking action could take out so many precious pills like that. Could it be the young master of some family? Or behind has a great alchemist? Van Chuong pretended not to care about the scrutinizing gaze of the other party, but still politely responded. Pleasure. I wonder if shopkeeper Hong is satisfied with the pills that I provided or not. Hong Fuong smiled until his eyes narrowed. Satisfied. Not only satisfied. He took out a bottle of pills, then cautiously inquired. This old man boldly guesses. The red pill contained in this bottle, is it blood flame pill? The 5th grade pill in legend. Van Chuong, hearing that, immediately gave a like praise, worthy of being the chief shopkeeper guarding a city. Old Hong truly has discerning eyes, Hong Fuong modestly denied, bringing up the earlier matter once more. Too praised, Mr. Tong, do you really want to transfer this precious item to our shop? Van Chuong awkwardly scratched his head, half joking, half serious, telling the reason. No way, recently money is a bit tight. Old Hong, please give a price. He did not rush to shout a price, going round persuading for a long while. This blood flame pill can allow a soul master under earth rank to directly rise 1 small realm. If used in the stage of complete realm, still has direct effect, breaking through the bottleneck of a major realm. If taken to auction, surely could fetch a more suitable price. Mr. Tong, will you not reconsider? But immediately was blocked stiffly by Van Chuong. Old Hong, I said already I am a bit tight. Do not say useless words. Quickly give a price. Seeing that Hong Fuong also did not say more, using calculator, making addition subtraction. If Mr. Tong said like that, then I also will not beat around anymore. This blood flame pill our shop is willing to pay 300,000 heavenly capital coins. Soul continuation pill our shop counts according to market price 25,000. Adding a few other pills, total is 440,000 heavenly capital coins. Total money to here. He suddenly paused, raised head, looking at Van Chuong with flattering eyes. But this old man wants to make friends with Mr. Tong. I boldly use authority of chief shopkeeper self decide 440,000. We round up into 500,000. I wonder if Mr. Tong is satisfied or not. Hong Fuong thought himself to be seasoned. However, these tricks were already seen through by him. This old fox, seeing my youthful appearance, making himself think he gained a bargain. Next is wanting to probe the origin of these pills of mine. Therefore, Van Chuong decided to comply with the scheme, pretending as if considering that amount of money. 500,000 Seeing him somewhat hesitating, Hong Fuong also revealed a troubled face. Mr. Tong, to tell you truth, these pills our shop also can only sell 600,000, paying you 500,000 already is the limit that this old man can decide. Or this old man will give extra medicinal herbs worth several tens of thousands more to Mr. Tong. How about that? Van Chuong suddenly took out a talisman card, lifting mouth denying, Old Hong, I do not mean that. Marquis of Ku, and I never take advantage of others. Better I give 2 more blood flame pills, total 1 million full. Hong Fuong held 2 bottles of pills in his hand, heart like being bombarded by an explosion. What again, taking out 2 5th-grade pills? This young man, could it be behind, has a 5th-grade alchemist? Wait, Marquis of Kuen, is that Marquis of Kuen, one of the 8 generals of Heavenly Capital? This young man is the son of the Zong family in the southern province. He could not hold back exclaimed comment. Truly is blood flame pill, moreover this quality superior grade, not say is ultimate grade, also not 2. Van Chuong do all these things, all have reason of it. This bait surely enough fish out big fish behind you already. Chief shopkeeper Hong Fuong, this 90-part 100 is descendant branch side of Hong Chamber of Commerce power behind Great Medicine House at South Province. In memory previous life Hong Chamber of Commerce is 1 in 3 Great Chamber of Commerce of East Continent, holds 70-part 100 market share business about medicinal material and refining at Heavenly Capital Nation. Trouble complex of Hong family behind at 2 world politics and commerce accumulate many generation. Not only rich frightening, also have network relation and resource terrifying. Van Chuong like step on rope. Each step all full calculation. This life for prevent beast summon appear later. Self not only must quick raise combat power, oneself also must build force of self, money, relation and resource. 3 thing this all not can lack. Hong Chamber of Commerce. Big fish like you just let me use. After witness generosity of other party, Hong Fuong already gradually wants seek no more about person this then open mouth invite. Mr. Tong, no young Master Tong. Place this not is place speak talk. Not equal go office of me sit 1 moment. Taste try tea I keep store then how. Have opportunity good like this. Van Chuong how can refuse. Polite already old Hong, please. At room manage, place work of Hong Fuong. Phone of Van Chuong ring 1 sound ting signal account bank already receive 1 million coin. He suddenly have 1 wonder. Old Hong money of Heavenly Dragon hard that. Hong Fuong laugh wide. Wave hand like that only is story trivial. Young Master Tong Heavenly Dragon hard that although rare have but not count is thing precious what. 30,000 small. Old man self decide exempt for young Master Tong. Van Chuong lift cup tea up. Indifferent receive special favor this. If already like that then I not polite already. Please. He also hold cup tea up answer courtesy. Please. Sip 1 mouth tea. He convenient mouth praise 1 sentence. Tea good. Also Hong Fuong no time already come then turn face order Fuong lie. Go take card gold have sign number 3 in drawer 3rd under table of me bring come here. She obey immediately. Yes. Until when be Fuong lie give item bring come front face. Van Chuong still not understand matter what happening. Old Hong, this is. Hong Fuong happy explain use of card that, brother Tong, think you also know, Great Medicine House South Province, we is industry under Hong Chamber of Commerce. Card this is Jade token member rank platinum of Hong Chamber of Commerce. Depend on card this, any shop under Hong Chamber of Commerce, all be enjoy treatment and discount of member rank platinum. 1 bit heart of old man, hope brother Tong must receive. The 2 talked for quite a long time. After that Van Chuong finally left with the farewell of Hong Fuong and Fuong Lai. Waiting until he disappeared from sight, she finally spoke out the question that had been on her mind all this time. Chief shopkeeper, you are so courteous to this young Master Tong. Could it be that you have already seen something about his background? He did not bother to hide anything and revealed all of his guesses. Just now he mentioned the residence of Marquis Kuen. His surname is Tong. Marquis Kuen, one of the 8 generals of the Heavenly Capital, also bears the surname Tong. If I am not mistaken he might very well be a young master of the Tong family in Nam Chao. The 8 generals of the Heavenly Capital, saints of extraordinary rank. That is the very peak of military strength in our country. Yet even such saints, who can be counted on one hand, are not as precious as the fifth-rank alchemist standing behind this young Master Tong. The more Fuong Lai listened, the more confused she became. Chief shopkeeper, do you truly believe that behind this young Master Tong there can actually be a fifth-rank alchemist? There are not many fifth-rank alchemists in the entire Eastern continent. Though fifth-rank pills occasionally appear as treasures retrieved from ruins or ancient tombs, she quickly received the firm answer of Hong Fuong. I have just examined that Enhien Hoa pill. It is of supreme quality, overflowing with soul power, absolutely a newly refined pill from very recently. Go at once and inform the fourth young lady. Tell her that there is now a lead on the fifth-rank alchemist she has been searching for. Fuong Lai immediately carried out the order. Understood. Van Chuong left the great medicine hall and merged into the bustling crowd on the street, walking while pressing on his phone so he paid no attention to his surroundings. Suddenly, when a figure brushed past him, he involuntarily froze. At the same time, it awakened a fragment of memory that had long been dormant in his mind. He hurriedly turned back, grabbed the girl's arm, and instinctively blurted out a name, Atan. She turned her head in shock at the stranger who was inexplicably holding her hand. While Van Chuong was still overwhelmed with indescribable emotion at meeting someone from the past again, it really is you. The hand he was tightly holding unintentionally activated the system's scanning ability. Host has come into contact with the bearer of the Soul General. Loading information. Soul General Lu Bu. Replication begins. Atan, female assassin Tai Ayan. Soul General Lu Bu, unmatched combat power. Once intervened in the battlefield to prevent the human race from killing each other. In his previous life, Van Chuong met her when he was lost in spirit, went through life and death together, finally stayed by each other. At this time, the memories of the two appeared. Van Chuong sat beside and softly called once, Atan. This name Tan is your real name, or is this just a nickname in Tai Ayan for you? Atan leaned and sat up, gently explained bit by bit. The Great Divination Council of the north of Tai Ayan once cast a divination. Wind and rain were coming, so they named me Tan, destined a life to shield wind and rain. After hearing these words, the corner of his lips slightly curved into a light smile, warming the whole room. So it is the real name. Atan brushed aside a lock of hair and softly replied yes. The next moment their lips blended in a burning kiss. At this time it seemed the whole world was silent. Only this moment existed. Suddenly the system notification rang, pulling Van Chuong back to reality. Soul General Lu Bu, copy successful. He silently judged the girl he loved, Atan, compared to her 3 years later in his memory. She looked more pure and immature. Suddenly in the hand of Atan appeared a dagger. She frowned tightly and pushed his hand away. Who are you? Immediately the dagger in her hand aimed straight at Van Chuong. Why do you know my name? But she had not yet left a wound when he already gripped her arm tightly. In just 1 second Van Chuong controlled the situation. Atan, do not be tense, I am not a bad person. She was shocked by his skills. What? Who are you really? Why do you know the killing art of Tai Ayan? But at this moment Van Chuong only paid attention to the men in black behind. So you were followed. Because of that he did not guard against the fierce kick of Atan. Let me. Immediately Van Chuong's face turned pale in pain as he screamed, "Ha!" He collapsed on the street, only able to silently clutch his lower body, while Atan walked far away. At the same time the men in black also witnessed this and chased. They quickly stepped forward. Van Chuong suddenly stretched his leg, tripping one man in black. That man fell flat to the ground. Duong Bak, because of just being hurt, got angry and shouted loudly, "Bastard, do you have no eyes?" But his comrade immediately stopped him. "Hey, do not make trouble." Duong Bak swallowed his anger, unable to do anything but snort coldly. Suddenly Van Chuong raised his voice arrogantly. "Wait, you touched young master and want to leave like this?" That arrogant attitude angered him. "You clearly hit me. Oh, I know you and that red-haired thief are together." Ko Min suddenly came near and whispered into his ear, "Secret investigators of Heavenly Capital are working. Kid, I suspect you are accomplice of suspect. Follow us. Hearing these words, Van Chuong immediately frowned. Inside a warning voice, not right, they are absolutely not people of the secret investigators. But thanks to his quick mind, he immediately played along with the men in black and acted. This is convenient, our people. Then Van Chuong gently took out from his pocket a card. Yao Sat Huang, 2nd grade. His words made the men in black alert. The identifying signal used among ranks of the secret investigators of Heavenly Capital. But Komin quickly calmed down and read the reply of the signal. Ian Chian Kuk Tran Hoe. So you are one of us. Apologies. Van Chuong then skillfully made up an identity. I am undercover subordinate of secret investigators of Nam Chao number 54188. How do you call yourselves? His talented acting forced Komin to take a hard choice, make the signal and dismiss the two behind. Troublesome. You go ahead, I will deal with him. Immediately he too quickly acted his role, sternly probing. We are scouts of Heavenly Capital secret investigators. Just saw you contact the target. Can you explain? Van Chuong clearly gave his explanation. The person you say is the female assassin Tai Ian. That target our Nam Chao secret investigators have been tracking for long. If not for your interference, I would have captured her already. Komin, after hearing these words, his face slightly darkened. He knew the assassin identity must be a person of Nam Chao's secret investigation. Damn, the intelligence did not mention. Then lure him into the trap and deal with him together. Immediately he quickly offered a tempting proposal. If it is so, brother, why not act together with us? We can walk and talk. Van Chuong did not hesitate to agree. All right, I will just report once to my superior. The word report had just been spoken when Komin hastily stopped him. Brother, because of suspicion that Nam Chao has spies of Tai Ian, we did not report beforehand. You temporarily do not report, or else it will affect the net closing plan. Van Chuong curiously asked back. Net closing. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. You even set traps. Coleman did not deny. While rushing forward he explained, not wrong, we already set up an ambush outside the city, pretending to chase in order to lure the female thief into the trap. They have gone far, let us quickly follow. Van Chuong without delay followed. So that is how it is. Truly worthy of being elites directly under the headquarters. The thinking is indeed thorough. But in his heart Van Chuong at this time already composed a string of curses. Foolish, dare to pretend as secret investigation before me. In previous life I was commander of High-End Tin Guards in Heavenly Capital. Spoke with secret investigation countless times. He used the system I to observe the aptitude of Komen. Soul power condensed in his Danshan. This one is of Diluan Nation. Exactly the same as the men in black seen near the Martial Academy. Unexpectedly at this time so many spies of Diluan Nation have already infiltrated. Suddenly a bold thought flashed in Van Chuong's mind. Wait, in previous life, the Nam Chao Martial Academy was destroyed in the Beast Tide. The Soul Jade of Soul General Ta Tu also disappeared. Could it all be related to these spies of Diluan Nation? He sank into this pile of thoughts, but still did not forget to follow the steps of Komen. Suddenly his eyes caught the candy stall nearby. Strawberry candied haws. Remembered a Tan seemed to like this. Immediately Van Chuong rushed over, throwing money to buy all those candies. This, and also all those strawberries, I buy all. The shopkeeper happily smiled after selling. All right, thank you, you are so generous. He hurriedly requested. Put them in this storage talisman for me to take. Your money no need to give back. Then Van Chuong just like that enjoyed the strawberry candy. Let me try first to see if it is sour. Suddenly Komen again raised his voice. Right brother, I forgot to ask just now. I am Komen. You can call me Old Ko. Brother, how do you call yourself? Van Chuong hearing that curved his lips into a sly smile. My name is Trin Ngia. You can call me Little Trin. And at the Martial Academy not far away, Trin Ngia, that unlucky instructor, was sneezing continuously. Achoo achoo, achoo achoo. Oh boy, seeing this could not help but ask, Hey, are you all right, Instructor Trin? He gently rubbed his nose and casually replied, Sniff, nothing. Ah, got runny nose, gross. Got runny. The sound of footsteps continuously echoed on the branches in the forest. Atan looked at the people chasing her, cursed. Damn it, why are they also here? Her step landed on a branch, making it bend down. Atan took momentum, then leapt strongly under the surprised eyes of the men in black. The power of the soul helped her land safely on the ground. She suddenly noticed the figure in front of her. Atan frowned and snorted coldly once. Vu Min smiled as he stepped out from the darkness. Ha ha ha, I have been waiting for you for a long time. He gave the order, activate the formation. At his order, a barrier immediately covered the forest. Atan also summoned a short blade and stood in guard. The men in black on the trees jumped down to the ground. At the edge of the forest there were also mechas surrounding her. The clearing was quickly blocked by them, leaving no exit. Vu Min opened the information panel of Atan and read briefly, top assassin of Taiyan, called the red-haired death god, real name unknown, half-step earth rank soul master, also the one possessing soul general Lu Bu. He sneered, ha ha ha, unexpected that it turned out to be such a small beautiful girl. The men in black began to approach her. Lai Hoa laughed lewdly, provoking, he, stop looking. This place has already activated the grand space formation, better obediently surrender. Looking at the appearance of this girl is not bad. Better let the brothers enjoy first. But before he could finish the sentence he was pierced through the head by the flying short blade. Atan coldly spoke, enjoy or not. Blood splashed onto the face of a man in black nearby. They immediately became chaotic and rushed towards her. Filthy woman, catch her, attack. Vu Min was not agitated like them, only stood aside observing. Ko Min at that time also entered the barrier. The formation had already activated. Seems they have trapped that assassin. Van Chuong, while running silently, sensed around. The fluctuation of space was urgent. This was a 5th rank barrier type spatial formation. The barrier cut off all sounds inside and outside. Ko Min led him running to the battlefield. Here already, he carefully observed, gray-colored Iveen units, the machines of the city guard army. Seems these people, after entering the territory from some secret paths inside heavenly capital interior, created soul talismans of soul generals. He clasped hands, saluting Vu Min. Boss, he only faintly replied, HM. In the midst of battle, smoke and dust filled the air. Atan noticed Van Chuong. It is you. He arrogantly greeted her. Hello, beauty. We meet again. Answering the greeting of Van Chuong was the short blade tearing through the wind, rushing in. He held the skewer, startled to find himself being attacked. Without thinking much, he immediately grabbed a shirt and pulled a man in black out to use as a meat shield for himself. Block. The one stabbed had not yet understood why he was pierced, while he angrily shouted, Hey, why hit me? Very dangerous, I am not with them. Atan, while blocking the sword of one man, confusedly looked at him, thinking, who exactly is this man? Clearly only with a small yellow rank cultivation, yet can evade my attack. Vu Min, speechless, turned his head, looking at Van Chuong. He suspiciously narrowed his eyes. Who is this person? Ko Min stepped up and whispered to him. This brat claimed to be under cover of secret investigation in Nam Chao just now. Vu Min did not really believe. If already is a stray fish falling in, consider him unlucky. Deal with this girl first. That stray fish later find chance to dispose. He bowed, obeying. Yes. One mecha in the encirclement drew out a giant blade with swishing sounds. The voice of the mecha pilot resounded. No more playing. Quickly finish her. Atan, hearing the sound, immediately turned back. The giant mecha slashed the blade down. Just in time she leapt up to dodge. While flying she also formed seals to summon soul. She shouted loudly, Construct. A green pillar of light appeared in the forest. The soul general of Atan gradually appeared. From the spiked shoulder to the firm mechanical arm. Finally the sharp long spear. The soul general Lu Bu towered, flying above the forest, eyes flashing a cold red light. The long spear in the hand of Atan spun around. One sharp strike slashed down on the mecha of the men in black. Smoke and dust rose thickly. The enemy in front, surprised, seeing his comrade vanish into nothingness. Without thinking much, he held his blade and charged, shouting, The reply was one slash cutting his mecha in two. The soul system appeared with a warning for Atan behind. There is an enemy ambushing. Atan darted forward like a shadowy arrow through the air. The spirit souls had not yet taken form, standing frozen in place. In just a fleeting moment her leg had already swung across their bodies. With a decisive strike Atan unleashed her full strength, kicking the spirit souls away as easily as kicking a ball. They were sent flying hundreds of meters, the earth and stones around them scattering everywhere. From behind, seeing the situation not very favorable, immediately transmitted the order to reinforce. Up, keep going, spirit souls. They quickly moved into position ready for battle. Form up. Atan was surrounded on all sides by the spirit souls. She had to make full use of her heightened senses to stay alert. Suddenly she noticed a group of people gathered away from the battlefield. There appeared Van Chuong. He was interrogating the soldiers. You at the outskirts of Than Nguyen Din caused such a commotion, not afraid of being discovered by the city guards of Than Nguyen Din. A hooded man coldly replied, this place has already been set with a level 5 space barrier array. Even if the heavens collapse outside, nothing will be detected. Van Chuong, hearing that, also pretended to laugh and praise. Makes sense. That is indeed reassuring. Meanwhile, that man was secretly drawing a weapon. It was Ko Min. He thought wrongly Van Chuong had lost vigilance, so seized the chance to attack. Die. Trin, go to hell slowly, rest assured. But Van Chuong had already anticipated. Van Chuong also quickly drew a sharp rod to counterattack. Ko Min at that moment followed the momentum, lunging forward. Taking advantage of that, Van Chuong, standing coldly behind, pierced through his body at once. Your Trin nonsense. Fool. Ko Min froze dumbstruck. What? He died too quickly, in his final moments, only hearing the misunderstood words from Van Chuong. What I meant rest assured is, I can rest assured here to eliminate all of you. He laughed proudly. Those unusual sounds made Vu Min notice. He turned back and saw then furiously. What? That bastard. Men. The soldiers under his order immediately charged. Kill him, yes. But Van Chuong was no less. He quickly summoned a sword in his hand. He darted through each of them like lightning. In just an instant Van Chuong had eliminated those who blocked his way. Finishing off one group, he quickly turned to leave. Vu Min, seeing this, only stood there hastily ordering, Chase, do not let that brat escape. Van Chuong, while running, was arguing with the system on his hand. Core system. Yes. Can you hack this space array? Can. Starting infiltration. The core system immediately went to work, analyzing. The array has 2 layers of structure. The outer is a folded space array of level 5 barrier type. Inside is prison fire soul array of level 4. Infiltration complete. Countdown progress to control right 126. 125, 124. On the other side, the spear of Atan was still working at full capacity. She was desperately eliminating the spirit souls surrounding. Atan was gradually exhausted, sweat pouring. She clenched her teeth angrily. Hateful. Still not finished. Vu Min was trying to observe Van Chuong, then suddenly remembered. He turned back, decisively ordering his subordinates. Time to capture Lu Bu already. Activate prison fire soul binding array. Yes, right when they had just activated, the formation circles appeared around Atan. From their center began shooting out sturdy chains toward her. All the formations simultaneously executed. Quickly Atan had already been wrapped by those chains around her neck. From the neck down to the hands. And finally the whole body. She could not move at all as her entire body was tightly bound by the thick chains. Atan angrily kept shouting, what kind of devil thing is this? Hateful. She strained with all her strength to break free, could not break free. But Atan had no choice but to resort to the last step, spirit dissolve. But everything suddenly turned different. Her face turned pale in confusion. Why could it not spirit dissolve? Vu Min, standing from afar observing, saw that and burst into gleeful laughter. Useless. The prison soul binding formation is a formation specialized in capturing spirit generals, obtained from the ruins of the ancient civilization. Wanting to spirit dissolve and escape is impossible. He, in the midst of joy, continued to give orders. Prepare, begin forced extraction of the soul stone data of the spirit general Lu Bu. Yes. Immediately a device like a cocoon was brought out by the subordinates. That device began to unfold its wings on 4 sides, revealing a sharp antenna inside. That antenna began emitting dense green waves everywhere. It spread across Atan's body, making her unable to endure. Damn it, stop. The spirit souls standing outside just watched, mocking endlessly. Filthy bitch. Yet you made us lose so many brothers. This time let us see how you resist. Suddenly from deep in the forest a green light beam shot straight to the sky. It drew the full attention of the spirit souls. That is, unexpectedly that beam of light shifted like lightning. It was like blades were attached to it, slicing through the spirit souls, splitting their bodies into 2 pieces. At the same time, the chains binding Atan were shattered into hundreds of fragments. The data extraction device was also pierced straight through by a spear. She still did not understand what was happening. What? It was Van Chuong who had constructed and arrived just in time. He still did not forget to tease beauty. Van Chuong calmly raised his voice, full of confidence. Do we need to be faster? I might only have 3 minutes. Only have 3. Atan was still standing there in shock, not yet recovered. She kept bewildered, questioning herself. How could it be? Why is there another Lu Bu? While she was in turmoil among the sudden questions, Van Chuong pointed the spear right at her. Atan could not block it. She screamed out in panic. But it was only a misunderstanding. Van Chuong was protecting her from an attacker from behind. The spear close to Atan pierced through the chest of the spirit soul behind. That one died before even realizing what was happening. What? Van Chuong forced more strength, twisting the spear to completely eliminate the nuisance. That spirit soul then vanished. All that remained on the spear were a few drops of blood falling down. He stood there stunned, secretly admiring. Exploded into blood mist already. Seems like must strike lighter. With all danger resolved, Van Chuong could finally put away the spear in his hand. Suddenly Atan pointed the spear straight at him, loudly questioning. Who are you? What is the spirit general you are using? Why is it like my Lu Bu? Van Chuong was not afraid, but calmly pushed the spear aside, then slowly explained, Be assured, at least I am not your enemy. Later I will tell you in detail. Somewhat calming Atan's mind, he then offered a proposal. Now, we first join forces to deal with this bunch. She, though still not satisfied, but observing the situation around, could only agree. Then the 2 of them immediately combined their weapons, eliminating the spirit souls one by one. Atan was fighting, then suddenly stopped to observe Van Chuong, his movements. She was closely watching how he attacked those spirit souls, witnessing every move through Van Chuong's spear. Quickly he had already been able to take another one out of the battle. Meanwhile, Van Chuong was very excited with the result he had just achieved. This force just right. Finishing them off, he lowered his weapon. The one just defeated was flung down hard. Just as that ended, another one crazily raised a sword, leaping at him. Van Chuong swiftly raised the spear, thus that one was skewered like a piece of meat. Adding one more victim trying to attack him fell motionless to the ground. Seen from afar, the battle between the 2 of them and those spirit souls was like a large-scale bomb explosion, dust flying everywhere. Atan at that moment was also straining to finish off that spirit soul. However, from behind appeared another one, charging fiercely. The difficult situation forced her to change moves. Atan decided to spin the spear once, decisively cutting off half the bodies of those 2 spirit souls. She was breathing heavily, panting hard to regain strength. On the other side, Van Chuong was still eagerly finishing them one by one. During a rest, Atan observed the strikes, then felt some doubt and commented, That person, clearly cultivation only at yellow rank. She looked closer, then gave detailed assessments, but he can use only the most basic moves to accurately stab the energy core of the enemy. Atan carefully watched each movement of Van Chuong. He precisely controlled the soul power released, understood clearly the structure of the enemy spirit generals. Noticing also the way the corpses were piled by him in the forest, and also this smooth, decisive movement. A Tan, still silently meticulously watching, then commented, truly like a veteran with decades of combat experience. Suddenly Van Chuong slightly turned back coldly, saying, one last one. He turned around cheerfully, exclaiming, then it is only you left. The only remaining spirit soul was struggling, raising its sword to resist. All of Vu Min's comrades had been defeated. He went mad like a beast cornered. Impossible, impossible, ha ha ha. There cannot be two Lu Bu. With nothing left to lose, Vu Min rushed straight at Van Chuong, attempting to take his life. Let me pierce through you. But a reckless attack is nothing but courting defeat. Van Chuong's weapon lifted just once. Instantly, both of Vu Min's arms were cut off. Neutralized with ease, the rest of the robot he was controlling collapsed to the ground. Now powerless before the overwhelming strength of Van Chuong, Vu Min could only rage and curse, damn it. As he raised his head, Van Chuong and a Tan were already towering before him. Knowing Vu Min had no way out, he began the interrogation, impersonating people of the secret Tra Bureau, entering Thindu Nation, and even obtaining the spirit general of the guard army. Speak the truth. What exactly does your rabble of Diluan Nation want? The name mentioned by Van Chuong made a Tan startled. What, Diluan? They are people of the northern nation in disguise. Seeing her somewhat overly surprised, he rolled his eyes and mocked. Hey, you surely did not really think this trash was from the secret Tra Bureau of Thindu, right? Too embarrassed, a Tan blushed and turned away without answering. HMPH. Meanwhile below, Vu Min no longer had the clarity to think straight. You, how did you see through it? Forget it, ha ha ha, it does not matter. Then he shouted so loud it echoed through the entire area. All of you die for me. Long live the general. Realizing the situation was turning bad, a Tan panicked as she recognized, not good, he is burning his soul power, he wants to self-destruct. Without hesitation, Van Chuong extended his hand toward Vu Min, unleashing a great surge of energy. Playing self-destruct with me? No way. The way he neutralized the enemy's ultimate left a Tan utterly stunned. What? He could suppress self-destruction with resonant soul power. And then Van Chuong clenched his other fist, preparing to counterattack. The moment had come. He shouted loudly, with a clear target being the armless mech before him. Get out of my sight. Thus Vu Min's spirit soul was directly punched out of his body. The finishing strike sent the spirit armor flying out of sight. Meanwhile, Vu Min fell freely with his body full of injuries. His entire figure slammed hard into the solid ground beneath the forest. Having finished off Vu Min, Van Chuong released his own spirit soul, Spirit Resolve. At this moment beneath him was a deep crater, proving how terrible the fall had been. His face was now covered in bruises, blood flowing uncontrollably from his head. Before he could recover, his jaw was gripped tightly by Van Chuong. Not allowing him to regain composure, Van Chuong went straight to the point. Behind the second tooth on the left you hid the poison spike for self-destruction. If I am not mistaken, you are truly a subordinate of Da Vong. Hearing the name spoken, Vu Min's face turned deathly pale in fear. You, how do you know General Da Vong? A Tan who had just spirit resolved was stunned hearing this and questioned. Da Vong? Could it be the king of mercenaries, commander of three Zizens and remnants of Tai Hoa? Sword saint of the Tai Hoa clan, possessing the spirit general Ken Chuong. Da Vong.